What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how to convert a high poly mesh into a low poly mesh without losing all that beautiful details. If you have ever sculpted something in high resolution and then realized it's way too heavy for game, real-time rendering or even just smooth viewport performance, we are going to cover two methods. First, we are going to bake the details directly from a multi-resolution modifier, super quick and perfect if you are working non-destructively. And second, we can manually create a low poly mesh around your high poly object and then bake a normal map from your high poly model and then apply it on the low poly one, which gives you more control and is standard workflow for game assets. Okay, so for this video I have this rock over here which has over 147k vertices in it, and today we are going to convert it into a low poly object with all these cool details on it. First, go ahead and duplicate it. Now rename this one to something like rock_low and rename the previous one to rock_high. Okay, so first you guys can create a low poly mesh around your object manually without these super high details, just a low poly object with something like 100 and 200 vertices or maybe less than this. It depends on you. Create an object around it and then we can use a normal map and then we can add a normal map on this high poly model that we can use on the low poly one to get extra details, to get these super cool details that we have over here. So the method that we're going to use is come to modifier properties and here add our decimate modifier on top of it, and now just reduce the ratio to something like 0.005. Here, as you guys can see, you guys can create this mesh manually by adding a plane and tracing around this object manually. You guys can create it that way, so you guys can get better topology. You guys can use this decimate modifier as well, or you guys can come to object data properties. Here you guys will see a remesh, and under remesh set the voxel size to something like 1 or maybe 0.5. then just click on voxel remesh. For me, I think I'm gonna set it to 0.8. then just click on voxel remesh. So I got this on 0.2. Now you guys can see we have some issues going on our geometry that we are going to fix manually. So I'm just going to select these two, M and then at last, merge at last, and I'm going to do the same thing on all these areas where I have this issue. Okay, so once you guys are done removing all those weird overlapping geometry, split the window and then change the mode to UV editor, then go into edit mode, press A to select all the geometry. Now here you guys can manually create scene, or instead just press U and then select smart UV project. I know it's not perfect, but it just gives something that we can work with. Open up shader editor over here. Okay, so now create a new material, then add an image texture node and then add a normal map node over here. Then just go ahead, plug the normal map into the normal section and plug the image texture into the normal map. Now just click on new to create a new texture over here. Name it whatever you guys want. I'm just going to name it rock_normal and then change the resolution. I'm just going to multiply it by 4 so I can get it in 4K resolution and set all these by default. Then just click on new image. Okay, so now make sure to set the color space to non-color, and now we are going to bake normals. For that, come to render properties. Make sure you guys are using cycles as a render engine, not EV. The texture baking doesn't work on EV, it only works in cycles. Select the device, you guys can use whatever you guys want. Make sure to set the max samples to 128 or maybe higher, it depends on your needs. Then come down to bake, make sure to set the bake type to normal instead of combined. and make sure to leave everything as it is, and then enable selected to active. This will bake all the geometry from the previous one to this one. Now open selected to active. Make sure to set the extrusion value to 0.5 meters. Now select both of these objects, press right click and shade smooth. Then select the high poly one first and then select the low poly object at last, and then just click on bake. Now wait for it to finish the baking. It will take some time, it depends on your computer. And here, as you guys can see, the baking is done and we have this normal map. By the way, the more samples you have, the more accurate normal map you will get. Now over here you guys will see nothing, no details, nothing. But once you guys go into material mode or in rendered mode, then you guys will be going to see all those details. So yeah, here as you guys can see, we have all the details on both of these objects. So yeah, this was the first method. So for this, first select the low poly version, press Alt G to reset the location, make sure they are in the same position. Then come to modifier properties. Here add a multi-res modifier on the low poly object, then just click on subdivide 4 times. Once you done that, then add a modifier, then add a shrink wrap modifier after that, and then select the high poly model as a target. And you guys can even increase these values to something like 5 or 6 by clicking on this subdivide. Now I'm just going to set it to 4. I'm not going up from this. Now I'm just going to set the levels viewport to 0. Then come to render properties, and here click on bake from multi-res. Make sure to enable that. Set the bake type to normal. Create a new material, and same step, add an image texture, then a normal map node. Create a new material, name it rock underscore normal 02, and then set the resolution. Create a new image. Make sure to set the color space to non-color just like before. Make sure the image is selected, image texture. Then come back to modifier properties and apply the shrink wrap modifier. If the first method doesn't work for you, the second will definitely work for you guys. So yeah, if you guys are having any issues with anything, let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, bye bye.